What up? What up? Happy Friday, and welcome to the Faith Unbuttoned podcast and the NAC Experience, which is an extension of Never Alone Christian Center. I'm your host, Pastor K. Don't forget to check us out on our website at neveralonecc.org. Make sure you guys are following us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as subscribing, turning on those notifications that you may stay connected to everything that's happening at the Christian Center, as well as everything taking place with this particular podcast. Without further ado, what's good? What's going on with you? I am always excited about Friday, because for me, it's the end of my work week, if you will, and then I progress into more things for ministry throughout the course of the weekend. But as far as working in the in my profession, it comes to an end on Friday, and as you can tell, I'm always excited. I'm also excited because you see the hat, Baltimore Ravens. We representing, had a great game this past week. We got over a hurdle of taking care of the Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes, or they like to call him a homeboy. And it was an outstanding game. And I'm so thankful and so glad that we're able to get that dub and progress and start to flow into this particular season. I hope your team, if you're into football, is doing well, or whatever sport you're into. I hope that you guys are excited and pushing your team as well. Without further ado, listen. Tonight, as always, you guys know, the Faith Unbuttoned podcast is an opportunity for me to kind of relax, to kind of chill, but also push forward good information and great topics. Okay, so as always, as I say, if you have questions, concerns, ideas, or you just want to say what's up, drop me a DM on Instagram or drop me a DM on our messenger on Facebook, and I will make sure that I get back to you, say what's up, answer your question. If you have a specific question, we'll throw it in the story, and we'll help use your questions to help other people along in whatever subject matter we may be talking about. So tonight, we're talking about my marriage is great, but we need separate beds. Let me say that one more time. Marriage is great, but we need separate beds. Now, why is this topic even on the table? Well, I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? Obviously, you guys know. If you don't know, my wife and I, we've been married 14 years, going on 15 years, coming up here in March of next year. And obviously, for us, we sleep in the same bed. You know, that is something that we do because that's what we do. We're married, okay? Now, but an article, I'm gonna give you some information here, and we're gonna get into this topic because I just to know just so you know where I stand. I stand on the side of married couples sleeping in the same bed, all things being equal. But I want to explore both sides of the coin because, believe it or not, there may be some reasons why sleeping in separate beds temporarily may be a benefit for your marriage. So let's look at this. So an article written in 2021 by a student at Georgetown University, they did a review of a survey that was taken in 2012 and 2017. Okay, that survey concluded that 1 in 4 couples sleep in separate rooms or in separate beds. 1 in 4 couples sleep in separate rooms and or separate beds. Now, to me, that seems like a pretty large number. Okay, so 4, and out of these 4, okay, 1 of these people are sleeping in separate rooms, and these are married couples. So I say, well, let me look into this a little more, because I always think about, you know, when you get married and you're excited, you got your wife or you have your husband, and you want to have that bonding and intimate time, and you buy a fancy mattress and all these nice blankets and spreads and nice beds, and got all these pillows, and then you sleep on the couch. I'm missing something here, okay? So some studies have concluded that some children, so couples with children, some children have become embarrassed and feel as if their parents may possibly not even love each other anymore if they are witnessing that their parents are sleeping in separate rooms. Obviously, if that is something that the husband and wife are doing for whatever reason, and we'll dive into a couple of examples here in a second, that has to be a discussion, in my opinion, that has to take place with your children, depending on the why. but your children or our children, they see us as examples. The young lady in this particular article, she would always explain to her friends when they would come over to spend the night or whatever, she would pre-warn them, hey, by the way, my mom and dad sleep in separate rooms. And in some sense, it embarrassed her, and she was trying to justify why that was taking place, because it was something that for her and how she viewed marriage that was uncommon. And she looked at this example, and I thought about this example as well, that so often when we talk about children, or even us growing up, so often TV is our example. Okay, TV show that we may be watching is our example, and a lot of children draw conclusions, whether they be good or bad conclusions, from television, okay? And now these days from social media. And me personally, growing up in the 80s and in the 90s, I cannot think of any television shows where married couples slept in separate rooms. It was nothing that you witnessed or that you viewed on television. They always, if they were married, they had a family, they always had mom and dad's room, and even sometimes the siblings would even share a room, okay? So even that was something that I never saw. And obviously my parents, for me, and even my grandparents, I always saw them. They always had their own room. They had their own bed in their room. So, but children see other married couples or other relationships on TV, and they see mom and dad in those shows in the same room, and then their parents are in separate rooms. It could cause them to be uneasy or to be embarrassed or to start wondering, well, maybe mommy and daddy don't love each other anymore. Maybe they're getting ready to get separated. Maybe they're heading for divorce. You'll be amazed what these children know and what they understand at such a very, very young age. And they recognize and they pick up on certain situations and circumstances, such as separate beds. Now, if you notice, when we started the topic here, I said marriage is great, or our marriage is great, but we need separate beds. So I don't want to automatically assume because married couples are sleeping in separate beds that their marriage is bad, because as we're going to get into some of these reasons here why this may be happening, does not necessarily mean that the marriage be bad, that the marriage may be bad, or the relationship may be going or heading south, but it could be an indication that may be the case. Okay, so let's look at this. So what are some top reasons, if you will, marriage even gets to this particular point? You may be in a situation, you may be married, you'd be like, my husband, he's always sleeping on the couch, and we in separate rooms, or we, separate location, we sleep at night. Or my wife, she never wants to sleep with me in the bed, and she wants to sleep in the other room, or whatever the case may be. And there's a divide there. And what's happening is, in my opinion, I think it begins to draw or put a wedge in between the relationship. In some instances, excuse me. All right, so let's look at this. Let's look at 9 different possible causes that may have led up to this particular point. One of the first things is, and no particular order here, arguments and disagreements. Arguments and disagreements so often cause marriages to, or couples to go into separate locations. Dad's on the couch, mom's in the bed, or vice versa. We typically think about, when we talk about the couch, we typically think about the man having to sleep on the couch because no woman sleeping on the couch. Well, every household is different, and I don't want to automatically assume. I always tell my wife, we're married, and I'm never sleeping on the couch in our house. I don't care if we fuss and fight, and I'm going to turn my back one way, and you'll turn your back one way. And because I love the Lord, I'm going to say, Father, in the name of Jesus, I forgive her under my breath. And if she says it back, fine, or she does it, I'm going to get right with God. That's just me. Always get right with God, because tomorrow's not promised. And I don't want to go to sleep angry, because I can't sleep when I'm angry. I don't know about you. When I'm upset, I'm frustrated, I cannot sleep. Okay, so arguments and disagreements. So you get into an argument with your spouse, okay? Boom, it's Monday, you get in an argument, you're in separate rooms on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, at what point is somebody going to apologize and make up so you guys can get back in the same room? Now it's into Saturday and Sunday. It's been a week. Now you like it. Now you've become comfortable. Now the intimacy is fading, and now it's like you guys are becoming roommates, and I don't think that's what God designed marriage to be. I don't think that's what we want our marriage to be. So if you get in an argument, you get into a disagreement, try to solve it if all possible, so that sleeping in a separate location is not the resolution. Okay. Number 2, disruptive sleep pattern. Okay. Maybe you have a husband who's up and down all night long. He's in the bathroom, getting water, getting snacks, phone going off. He's up, down. Or you got a wife who's similar, has a very disruptive sleep pattern. And like my wife, she once she sleeps. She sleeps. She doesn't like to be woken up for anything. So if I come up late, I'm creeping and crawling. I'm getting into bed. I'm sliding it because I don't want to wake her up because I know my wife. Okay, you have to know your spouse. If there is a disruptive sleep pattern amongst the wife or amongst the husband, let's instead of kicking somebody out or separating rooms, how about we visit a doctor? Let's find out why husband or wife isn't sleeping. Let's talk to a professional before we automatically say, I'm sleeping in another room because I just don't like the way you sleep. You're always kicking me. You're always moving. You're always up getting water. Maybe they got a bladder issue. Maybe they have some sleep deprivation. Maybe they have insomnia. Maybe they have issues with their legs. Something could be going on in their nervous system. Instead of assuming that, well, you're just a disruptive sleeper, let's sleep in separate rooms. How about let's talk to somebody? Let's talk to a professional and say, look, my husband or my wife has that sleeping pattern. I can't sleep at night. I'm not getting no sleep. If I'm tired, he tired, the kid's tired. We all frustrated. Now we're arguing and fussing, and now we're really mad at each other because it's because one of us or both of us have a disruptive sleep pattern. I know me personally. I like my pillow to be cool at all times. So I bought good pillows that stay cool. Now, back when we first got married, I had the little cheap pillows. So every 30 minutes, I'm flipping my pillow, flipping it. Why? Because I need my pillow to be cold when I'm asleep. That's just me. Okay? What's another reason? This is a big one. This is a big reason. Snoring. I can speak for myself. My wife has asked, do you mind if I sleep in the other room because you're snoring a lot lately? So what happens is when I gain weight, I start snoring. And I have to get back on my game and drop the weight and do what I have to do to drop the weight. So what was our solution? I said, no, you're not sleeping in another room. I said, I'll do my part. I'll turn my back. I'll sleep on my side. I'll put some Vicks on my nose. I'll put the humidifier in the room because I'm not sleeping in a separate room than my wife. We're sleeping together. I got married so we can sleep together. I don't think snoring is a make it or break it. Now, it may be serious for you. But once again, before sleeping in separate rooms, let's go to a health professional. There are so many devices out there, so many solutions out there to help us lose weight or to help us get our snoring under control. And I think the answer to that is maybe finding out how to control the snoring so that our partner can sleep. Okay? So don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. I plug our humidifier up. I put the Vicks under my nose, whatever I got to do. Why? Because I don't want to disrupt my wife's sleeping pattern. What's another reason? Number 4 here. What's another reason? TV, music, or maybe you like to go to sleep in silence. We're not TV people. We don't have to have the TV on to go to sleep. I don't have to have any music playing to go to sleep. We can go to sleep in silence. Now that happens to be we live in a very quiet neighborhood. Now maybe if you live in a neighborhood that's not quiet, or you're in an apartment, or you're in a townhouse, and you're trying to turn the TV on or put some music on to drown out everything else so you can go to sleep, you might have to do what you have to do. But if it disrupts your partner, disrupts your wife or your husband, have a conversation. All of this comes down to having a conversation. Instead of just being upset and saying, I'm sleeping in another room, or can you sleep in another room? How about we have a conversation? The reality of it is, while we're single, we don't know how we sleep. We can sleep sideways, to the left, blankets to our neck, pillow on the floor, all type of stuff. Because until you get married, you don't know how your sleep pattern will be affected when you put another person in your bed. Now, in my opinion, my wife and I, we invest in a good mattress. We buy a king mattress. Why? Because we want to have our space in the bed. Now, if you're married and you're sleeping on a twin, well, yes, you're going to be uncomfortable, in my opinion. Now, if that's what you can afford, that's all you can afford, then you're going to have to put some money aside to get yourself a nice king mattress to give yourself some space so you're not uncomfortable. See, because with a king bed, if I'm snoring, if I turn the other way, she's not even going to hear me because we have enough space there to provide a sense of barrier, at least in my particular situation. Okay? So have a discussion. Well, I can't sleep with the TV on and your music all on. I can't go to sleep. I'm sleeping in the other room. And sometimes men be like, all right, we'll sleep in the other room. But we don't think about what we say, or vice versa. Okay? Another reason, okay? What are we talking about? Marriage is great, but we need separate beds. I am not an advocate of separate rooms or separate beds. Okay? I got married so that I can sleep with my wife in the bed every night. Not necessarily sexually. Absolutely. If our schedule and time presented itself and we can have sex every night, yes, I'm on board. Absolutely. But sometimes with the pattern of our day, kids, hustling, tired, exhausted, it just isn't applicable to our marriage all the time. Okay? But I like knowing that she is there next to me. And I assume that she enjoys knowing that I am there next to her as well. Okay? Number 5, we're looking at some reasons why people even get to this point of separating beds. Number 5, scheduling clashes. Okay? Maybe you guys have upside down schedules. When I used to work midnight, I would leave at night and I would come home early in the morning and I would just lay on the couch. I wouldn't go hop into bed and wake her up and she has 2 hours left to sleep. That's selfish. If you have scheduling clashes, okay, now this may be a reason, especially if you're a light sleeper, a reason to have separate locations of resting on those days that your schedules clash. Because if someone is you guys have upside down schedule and they're on the way to work, I think it's selfish just to come jump in the bed and wake them up or disrupt their sleep because there's a scheduling crisis or a scheduling conflict. Again, there needs to be a discussion so that one person isn't feeling slighted because, oh man, I got to sleep on the couch, or I got to sleep in this other room, I got to sleep on this other bed because I don't want to wake her up when I come in. Well, that's called not being selfish. Okay? This is maybe one reason where it may be okay temporarily until things change, where you might have separate sleeping locations and on those days that it is a conflict. Okay? What's another reason here? We looked at this reason. Opposite taste in mattresses. You like your mattress firm. She like hers soft. This is a trash reason. Get a mattress that you both can compromise on. If it's that serious, invest in one of those mattresses that are dual mattresses where you can make your side firm and she can make her side soft, or however you guys need to do it. Okay? In my opinion, well, I don't like our mattress, so I'm sleeping in the other room. Trash. I don't want to hear it. We're going to buy a good mattress that we both can enjoy. We're going to go pick out a good one. We're married. We're going to get a good mattress we both enjoy. So if this is a reason, trash in my opinion. Okay? Another one here. Pets. Okay, maybe you were single. When you were single, your dog, your cat slept at the bottom of your bed. Now you're married and your spouse is like, pets upstairs. Again, this is a conversation that must be had. I have friends who they're dogs, they're cats. I have a dog. You guys know Coco's our German Shepherd. I love her, but Coco sleeps downstairs. And I love her like one of my children. Coco sleeps downstairs. She has her own space. She has her own pillow. She does not sleep at the foot of my bed, sleep between me and my wife. Now, that's just us. There are people who love their pets jointly, and they allow that. But if your husband or if your wife is not on board with the pet sleeping in the room or in the bed, this must be a conversation. Because we don't get married, or hopefully you didn't get married so you can sleep with your dog and your husband sleep down the hallway, or husband, you're sleeping with your dog and your wife sleep down the hallway. Pets. Don't let pets come between sleeping in the same bed. Once again, guys, have a conversation. Have a conversation, okay? And let's look at this last one here. Again, we're looking at some reasons why marriages can end up in sleeping in separate beds. An unbalanced sex life. Husband wants sex 7 days a week. Wife is on board for 3 days a week. Wife wants sex 7 days a week. Husband's on board for 3 days a week. Maybe he's tired. Maybe she's tired. Maybe it's a scheduling conflict. Maybe that's overkill. Whatever the case may be, this has to be a conversation. Well, every time he get into bed, he want to have sex, and I just can't have sex 7 nights a week. I'm tired. I have to get up and clean. I have to do this. I have to do that. I'm gonna be late for work. And so I'm sleeping in the other room. Or if that situation or that role is reversed. I had to learn that with my wife. When we first got married, I wanted sex all the time. But I had to realize that we both have schedules. We both have jobs. She has to get up. She needs a rest. She has to take care of this. She has to have to handle this. And me, I'll just do 3 hours of sleep and be like, whoo, I'm good. That's me as a man. But that is selfish. Respect your partner and their life that they live, their job, the responsibilities they have if they're a mother or if they're a father, and bring some balance to the intimacy and the sex life in the bed, so there's not overkill. So that one person, it's like if one person feels like they have to sleep in another location because they're not going to get any rest, because you always got to be on top of them. Now, if you guys are both intimate like that, then whoo, glory be to God. Do your thing. You both be tired the next day. Okay. All right. Now, these are my thoughts. Now, those were some reasons that I found by doing some simplistic research with credible sources. Okay? Now, let's look at my thoughts here. Now, all things being equal, like I said, I got married to enjoy the comfort of having my wife sleeping next to me every night. Why is this healthy? What are some of my healthy reasons for this? Well, number one, I think it's healthy for us to sleep together every night in the same bed because it allows us to have pillow talk. It allows us to have those conversations that we can't have through the course of the day. Maybe it can't be handled through text. Maybe it needs to be handled in a quiet setting. Number two, it provides a sense of security. Okay? For example, the other night my wife was coughing. I jumped up and got her some water and I was there because I didn't know if she was choking. I didn't know if she was dreaming. I didn't know if a burglar was breaking in, but it provides a sense of security because I'm right there. Had I been down the hallway, I may have not heard her coughing or possibly choking or heard somebody breaking in, a burglar breaking in. I may not have heard that had I been down the other end of the hallway. So it allows for pillow talk. It provides a sense of security. And also, number three, it keeps the intimacy consistent. It keeps it consistent because I'm consistently there. It's not like, hey, hon, you available tonight? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and sleep down the hallway. Nah, man. Nah. This your wife. This your husband. This ain't some fling. Okay? Now, those are the reasons why I think it's healthy. Now, and let's close it out here. What are some reasons I think that is unhealthy? If you have children, number one, it can be confusing to them. And I think that's unhealthy for the whole family. Okay? I think that's unhealthy for the whole family. And that's self-explanatory, as we said earlier. Number two, it leaves room for the mind to roam. Let's be honest. Most of us, if we're in a separate room, we're grabbing our phone. We're turning the TV on. Now we're strolling social media. Now you might jump into that DM box that you didn't want to jump in. Now you're talking to this or you're talking to somebody, stuff you're doing, stuff that you may not have done. But if your wife or your husband next to one, hopefully we're not doing those things. And number three, it could affect the intimacy in the relationship. All right, listen, those are my final thoughts on this topic. Marriage is great, but we need separate beds. My thoughts, my opinion, I'm not with that. I think we need to be in the same bed if we're married because of pillow talk, security, and intimacy are the healthy reasons. But take your time, and if you need to jot down some of those other reasons, or if you're in separate rooms, ask yourself, why? Why don't my wife and I, or my husband and I, sleep in the same room? How did we get here? What can we do to fix it? Maybe we need counseling. Maybe we need therapy. Maybe we need to see a physician. Maybe we need a new mattress. All right, guys. Thanks for tapping in tonight to the Faith and Button podcast. Don't forget to visit our website, neveralonecc.org. I love you. Check in on us on this Sunday. We're continuing our series on the battle of loneliness. We're going to be closing that out soon, as well as on our Wednesday at Behind the Scriptures, which is BTS. We're still teaching on understanding the peace of Jesus. All right, I'll check up later. Let's go.